Hello everybody, I am TanktheElder, and you have stumbled upon this stream. Welcome to Magic and Mayhem. This is the there we go. Okay. Making sure that's all set up. Sorry for the somewhat slow intro on everything. Still getting used to, if you look at our channel, this is only the second semi-real stream on YouTube that I've done. Still getting used to some of the differences between how this was set up for things versus streaming on Twitch, but I thought it would be good for me to go ahead and jump on over to YouTube, and we will see how things progress from here. So hello everybody, my name is TanktheElder, and I am, as the title says, working on a Star Destroyer. I'm not 100% sure what I want to actually get accomplished today. Let's go ahead and get sharing so that you guys can see what I have to work with. Alright, so last time I was playing, I was doing more terraforming of areas. I think I'm going to at least continue pulling out all of this before we really, which will give me some time to see if anybody actually shows up here, and if they ask me to go work on something in particular on the Star Destroyer build itself. I'm afraid that at the moment I don't have a massive plan. Some of it is for the moment, for the main engines, one of the things I'm waiting on is my iron farm, which is not especially efficient to actually produce enough iron for me to use that, at least for part of the actual I guess you could call it the engine shroud, since it's not technically... calling it the engine is a bit like saying that this is an engine is a bit like saying that your muffler is an engine. It's not really... without the muffler, obviously, things are not going to go particularly well as you're attempting to drive. But, at the same time, it's mostly the place where all of your... come on. It's mostly the place where all of the extra things that your engine is producing are expelled. The waste energy, what have you. So I also somewhat recently put in excuse me, put in the detailing, at least in terms of marking out the part of the ship where they are going to be the main hangar bay. And I don't know how many of you would necessarily remember on the bottom of a Star Destroyer. If you ever played the newer EA Battlefield 2 and flew and did some of the piloting missions where there's a Star Destroyer that's in basically at a dock to get repaired, and the rebellion shows up to turn it into smithereens. The section on the bottom that you can destroy that is one of the points, and it's just kind of this dome hanging off the bottom. I have that also indicated. I need to pull up a circle generator because I'm not the best at remembering how, like, where it fans itself out to provide that kind of like how it expands itself when you're trying to do things. I'm also going to have to figure out if I want it to be forced to be an odd number or an even number. The reason this is kind of in question, by the numbers I've compiled, and I've compiled them because I have a book from the 90s where they give just enough quote-unquote technical details about a Star Destroyer with drawings in some schematics, which, here, give me just a sec. Any of you who might have seen it, so this is the book in question. This is the page that I happen to be using to give me ideas. So, but you see, if you follow the lowest line, okay, come on. There's kind of that rounded bulb at the very base of the Star Destroyer. That was what I'm talking about. In this particular book, they call that a solar ionization array. So I'm assuming it's intended to be some form of solar powering for engines and other systems. But we're inventing technologies because it's Star Wars, and, you know, for all that it is a completely... So, this will be one, and understand, I am a fan of Star Wars, so just understand this is coming from that. But it has dawned on me in the not very distant past that Star Wars is in fact not a sci-fi, it's a fantasy with sci-fi elements. So if you look at excuse me, if you look at story, if you pay attention to how George Lucas wrote this, and I'm not just talking about the, like, very well documented case that he, like, part of the reason everybody got upset about the prequels and what he did with Anakin in those is because of how closely he tied his story to Joseph Campbell's big work about narrative. And this is one, I think, if you know who Brandon Sanderson is, go to his channel and pick up the newest class that he gives on writing sci-fi and fantasy. And I feel like he does a very good job of explaining where it is that George, I don't even want to say strayed, because it's not like there's a set path, but if there was any straying to be done, I think it was the fact that he tried too deliberately to make Star Wars the epic Campbell-esque myth. Like, it had to have all of the elements of story according to Campbell's recommendations. And that's where you get these things where, Campbell argued that that for most hero characters, there's the virgin birth because it all relates back to Christianity. And for all that I am a Christian and do have a sense that there's a certain truth to that, I think that's a case of trying a little too hard to shoehorn your explanations and understandings of story and belief together. I don't think that's actually as legitimate of a claim as some people would like to make. But all that aside, if you start looking at what happens with Star Wars, it shouldn't take you too long to start seeing that Lucas did a lot of work to make Star Wars Hero's Quest. You'll notice, what is the classic line that, we like to make fun of for... We like to make fun of Star Wars for? Did the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs? Now, intriguingly, those of us who grew up with the expanded universe of novels written in the 80s and 90s after Return of the Jedi, but before the prequels came out, and especially before Disney got a hold of it and decided to throw away all of the other storytelling that had been done in that universe. And no, I'm not at all salty about that. Nor do I use sarcasm whatsoever. But one of the books, and they kind of ended up using a little bit of it in the Solo movie, because of course we've got to do the whole thing. Essentially, the reason that you can say we did it in less than 12 parsecs is surrounding Kessel is the Maw, which again, if you've seen Solo, then you know. Basically, it's an area of space by the planet that is full of black holes. And so the contention is essentially the reason that you're shaving off distance rather than necessarily a unit of time, as Han's talking about this, is because he actually uses the Millennium Falcon's speed to get in close enough to the black holes that he's essentially skipping through space. Like, in hyperspeed, the Millennium Falcon is a fast enough ship that essentially it can it actually can take off distance, not just time, because of the nature of black holes. Now, I am not a physicist. Will never pretend that, and so if you hear a physicist talk about the realities of black holes, please pay far more attention to them than what merit you give my words on the matter, because they are far more invested in this. But it does give a pseudoscience reason to go, oh, okay, when you're dealing with that kind of gravity situation, it's at least a plausible, and this is where we go back to what I was saying about Star Wars being a fantasy. It's about a plausible notion of ships getting through space travel. And doing so in a way that you can get from one side of the galaxy to the next in relatively short order. For all that, reality would definitely beg to say that's not exactly how that is gonna work, Yeah. So, but yeah, so if you look at that, you're like, oh, okay, this is yet another place where you go, oh, okay. So we're not dealing with hard science in the way that, like, Starship Troopers, or, I mean, granted, that's more socio-political, what have you, too. But Heinlein did much more about the realities of humans in space travel with that than anything that we see in Star Wars. A former coworker also points out that as cool as the Jedi might be, they're space wizards. Oops. Goodness gracious. I did say at some point I was going to redo my inventory. But, for now. And essentially his argument is, if you look at it like, okay, we know they can do force throws, but what does that actually mean? They can, yes, they have laser swords that kind of defy physics by being halted by other lasers, but not other things. Some of them can shoot lightning. Leaving aside the moral component on that, like, some of the space wizards can shoot lightning out of their hands. Some of the space wizards can catch lightning with their hands. There's no real defined capacity for what a Jedi can or can't do. And his contention is that makes them space wizards rather than some sort of... it's not like there's some sort of tech culture where, plug in computer programming, get result. And even the droids are kind of fickle that way. Okay, I think we're actually going to go... Let's go harvesting. Alright. Let's also do this, so that next time I have more resources. Okay, so, oops, the other one. And this one. And we're going to swap that. That way, I'm trying to keep, especially the ones that have the more useful enchants on them. I like trying not to have too many of them on me at one time, just to keep everybody safe. You know what? We're going to come back where we were to do all this. So, now if you're wondering why I am terraforming this area... a lot of it is for as much as, yes, I have lots to still work on, like, for instance, I still need to figure out, based off of the drawings, how big the bridge of the Star Destroyer actually is, the angles that it's going to come off of, all of that with, how far forward it ends up, all those fun things that just make... a Star Destroyer just super interesting piece of building. Okay, so we are going to do Alright. I guarantee you we will hit build limit, because I have been stockpiling a good bit of this for a while. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that the last thing that I have on the stacks is something that gives me XP, because I believe... Oh, I have not yet done. Okay. So it will matter a little bit less. But what it does mean, because I'm going to be going through a bunch, and you are the one without. Okay. I think let's do... So, as we get up here a little bit, I will also explain some of what we're seeing. Not that it should be particularly confusing to anybody, but... So, not exactly sure how far back I'm going to push this, because I think I might pick a point here along the birch forest to just go ahead and go, okay, that's as far back as I'm pushing my terraforming. I think I will try and find the border there and probably draw a line across that. And part of why I'm doing that is I want everything back here that's kind of behind the engines. I want to make it all look like spaceport. Like this is... I want it to feel like there's just barely enough room for the Star Destroyer to actually be here, because, let's face it, it's not the kind of spacecraft that ought to be on a planet's surface. You know, there's numerous indications as you go through like, for as terrible as they are, I still do love the images of the wrecked Star Destroyer in The Force Awakens. Because it is such a, like, it gives you a much better idea than I think a lot of other images and movies have managed to do. In showing the scale of the spaceships. Like, we don't get a ton of very good reference points in the movies for just how big some of this stuff is. But basically I want to build... I've compared it to if you've watched any footage of a modern aircraft carrier launching modern fighter planes. What I want to have behind the Star Destroyer is basically a heat dampener. Basically for the notion that if they're going to have to test the engines, which is a very, very likely thing to have happen for a ship this size that has been forced into gravitational areas like this. Okay. Alright, so it's going to all be down on the ground. Basically, how you're going to want something behind any place that you would be testing an engine, because if you don't, you're going to, over time at any rate, you're going to melt anything that happened to be behind it. So an intelligent builder would have gone ahead and put some way for a ship to test their engines and not destroy facilities around it. And so I'm trying to decide. I think it's going to be, at least patches of it will be full-on black stone of some kind. If I decide to go with a really, like, they just tested it, there'll probably be a few magma blocks that I put in, just to have the, hey, here's the reality of this thing coming in and getting sorry, wife was asking me important questions. Let's see. Alright, so let's do snackies. And but come up with something that looks like, okay, this would be the kind of thing that you'd put behind a major capital ship, so that, because however you want to, like, and again, this is that weird blend of, like, okay, we're mixing complete and utter science fiction with physics that are poorly defined. Excuse me. And trying to come up with something that at least feels logically consistent, if not logically sound. And so, oh boy, I need overflow. Looks like I need to get myself smelting some copper, which I was doing before, wasn't I? I was. Oh, smooth stones. Oh, those work too. I need them too, because I think my engines are going to end up being iron blocks and smooth stone. So, and at this point, the copper is here because I keep finding it, and I am too much of a resource hoarder to get rid of something so useful as a resource, even if it is only a building resource, because I went to all of the time and effort and using durability on my pickaxes to get rid of it. So we might as well make some use of it. Alright. More coppers and the coal. Probably should do a feeding here shortly. So, and like I said, I'm trying to decide. It's trying to balance the part of me wants to start filling in facilities here behind it. Some of that is I'm still trying to decide what I even want that to look like. So, like, yeah, I don't know what that's gonna be. So it's easier to just be like, we'll deal with that later. Excuse me. We'll be very happy when this cold decides it's done. Now, one thing I'm a little sad about, or at least I have not seen a capacity to do it. I'm a little sad that I can't strip mending off of something that was enchanted with it to put it onto something else. So far, when it comes to mending, I have literally just been going into creative. I have librarians. I have not done much with villagers at this point. And so it's a case of, okay, well, alright. So I need to, but thus far I haven't, and because I found at this point something like 13 villages, I'm not super concerned that I don't have an official villager spawner yet that also has given me librarians who sell me mending. I am very much a builder first, farms guy well after that, because it's just not the part of the game that truly fascinates me. I much prefer doing the building, and I do have 8 arrows. Shall we see if I can get the sharpshooter going on? Too far. Alright, where are you going? Uh-huh. Oh, you turkey. Dang it. I tried. Alright, so let's do this. So, but yeah, yeah, that one needs bisected. I think we'll have to come off of somewhere in there and across. Just so I like dividing up something that's going to be a long dig like these into sections, just because it makes it so much easier to sit there and go, okay, this is how much I've actually got to worry about in getting this done. Now, so I don't remember exactly how many blocks below build height that actually is, but it is. Part of the reason for that is, if you actually look at it, the back of this neck does not actually go all the way to the top of the command bridge. So again, I'm not worrying about, 1-for-1 accuracy on this. For one, if I tried to, I would have to be redoing quite a bit of this, because a full-scale, a full-size Star Destroyer doesn't actually fit into a normal Minecraft world, because it's something like 900 some blocks. It's almost 900 blocks wide, and it is 500 or so blocks tall. So even including the fact that Minecraft worlds now go to negative 60 something, even with that, you can't actually fit it into the world properly. So I have scaled this down to the kind of Star Destroyer that's in A New Hope that is chasing Princess Leia at the opening of the movie. Excuse me. For those of you who are fellow dorks, that would be the Victory class Star Destroyer. And so it's only 900 meters long, and so I've just downscaled everything, which has been kind of a good thing, because a full-size Imperial class Star Destroyer, so the regular average Star Destroyer, it's almost, like I said, it's almost 900 meters wide, and it's 1,600 meters long, and so, like, these engines are downscaled pretty significantly from what that actually would work out to, but I gotta figure something out so that I can do this, so that's why it's not just as easy as just measuring things off and going, oh, okay, it's this big. So, sorry, I'm pretty exhausted. I have not had great rest recently because I got sick the other week, and body's still trying to deal with all that. Right. Let's put you back. Oops. Where'd you go? There you are. Once again, getting a little ahead of myself. Alright. So, now we have all of the fortunable stuff that I've been picking up lately taken care of. And we're going to have to hop off the butt. We got to get off the butt. So, alrighty then. Whoop. Not good. I'll fall down and go boom. Alright, let's see. I'm going to guess. Yep, clay is ready. So, do that. Do that. And you're all done. Alrighty. Boom. Okay, it is going to you. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and swap for a full stack of coal for everybody. So I have been building up the copper. I'm not 100% sure what all I want to use it in, but we're finding it. We will find a use for it. One of the things that I have decided we'll do, though I'm not in any rush to get started on it, for the simple fact that I have so much work to do right now, just trying to get some things in place, make this start looking like this isn't just me randomly choosing a place to plop a massive ship into. No, not that. That. I want to work on some spaceport elements. I want to work on filling in more of this wireframe / the exteriors, at least, of the Star Destroyer. But one of the things that will eventually happen as I get more things squared away in the world, I am going to make this a world where any build goes. I very much like the Star Wars aesthetic when it comes to buildings. We're going to play around with a few of those. We are also going to go ahead and in places that it feels right, I am going to attempt to build, like, I keep reading other fantasy stuff. Like, most recently, while I've been working, I have been listening to Wheel of Time again. And trying to get that squared away. Sorry. Been trying to, like, I keep seeing images of some of the stuff that Jordan's explaining, and it's bringing that, I really want to do some fun. I really want to do some very, very fun builds in various fantasy styles. And so I've just decided, because it's my world and it's how I want to live my life, that one of the things that I'd like to do with it is to I don't think I'm going to worry just yet about... Okay, let's... So it's still not going to be the most efficient yet. I want you close, but I've not really built up a whole... let's do it here for the moment. But yeah, I'd be able to go around throughout this world and have places where it's like, okay, this is very heavily dwarven influenced stuff, because I am a dwarf. There's just no getting around that at this point. Not only do I have a decent beard, but I legitimately enjoy carving rock and faceting gemstones and the like. Okay, let's drop you. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's 6, 7, 8. So I will turn this into an automated farm eventually. For the moment, though, we'll just do this manually. I'm not super worried about losing time at this point, because yeah, it's just a thing. So I do that and bonk. So, and I'm not worried about having the most efficient of every little thing just yet. There are certain things that, as we go, it will become more important to have my smeltery automated so that I have fewer things that I'm going, hey, this is a problem. But yeah, so we're just taking things as I see them and go, yes, let's solve that problem for now. So I do have to say, I am quite proud of this farm design. It literally came to me as I was like, oh, hey, I want to have a space to do all that. And what it ended up becoming for me was what we see here. But it was... We'll go throw those out in the lava. Actually, let's do that. And now we have everybody's attention. Let's make some more steaks. And more item frame ingredients. That's an even number. 30. We're gonna go play popcorn. But yeah, I'm still trying to sort out some different things about the look of, you know, what does Imperial stuff mean to me. Popcorn, 'cause I'm crazy. But yes, that is why. Because with that wheat field, I produce almost a stack more seeds than I need anyway. Like, beyond the 36 I need to replant the... beyond the 36 that I need to replant the farm, I also just don't have the... let's do that. You know, I am slightly disappointed that if we're going to go to all the time and effort to say that you can take mud and dry it out, but you can't take sponges and set them on that same apparatus and have them dry out. Like, so, but again, that begins the discussions of, okay, what kinds of realism do you want in your game? Because obviously having the capacity to float a metric cube of stone in the air, or a cubic meter of stone in the air, is, you know, not only highly unrealistic, but just utterly ridiculous. And yet, we all know we can do it. We've all played enough Minecraft to know that. Alright, so we're going to go keep working on rib installation. And basically what I'm trying to do with this is, again, I like breaking this up into sections because you can make it feel like you've accomplished something. And that ends up meaning a lot for somebody who's streaming this way. Because at the end of it, it can be a, okay, well, I've got to knock off because I got to go pick my son up, but... Okay. 5 and 6. But I can go, oh, well, when I go to do this, I can just... 4, 5, and 6. I'm not going to be counting the whole time. It just... Somehow or other, when I did the first of these, I had an extra 6 in there somewhere, and to make all of this work out, I've had to do 6 and then get into the half stack. But yeah, we've been having some good times with this. But basically what I want to be able to know is how much area do I have, where do I have some places I can go, oh, I can put a tiny section in here and close off, from some of that. Because as much as, yes, I'm going to create a number of very open, so the level, this level and this level, I intend to have be as open as possible for as much of the ship as I can. The big question is going to end up being how does the hangar influence that floor plan? Because it's going to have to extend up into the superstructure some. And I think one of the things here, once I get some of this stuff squared away, I think that might need to be one of the other things that I soon do. But yeah, eventually as I go on with this world, we'll have some very different looks. Like there will probably end up being an elvish area. If you know Wheel of Time, and I'm even willing to say on this one, even if you only know Amazon Prime stuff, you've heard of Ogier. And Ogier Stone, maybe not Ogier Stonemasons, but you've heard of Ogier. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, so I'm going to put that off to the side. And there's going to be places in the world where I'm trying to build those very fantastic ideas. One of the things I've already kind of decided I want to do is, let me get through this. All right. think kind of over here, because it'll give me some places to really drop some towers down. I want to build something that looks like maybe there was somebody with money who used to live on Naboo, but came here and built used their vast wealth to build an impressive structure. And so I think I might do that as a big build. But then, pushing further out, like there's some place... At this point, I've gone at least several thousand blocks away from the Star Destroyer to the east, south, and north. I have not gone west just yet. But that will be another direction at some point. Bad part is I'm half tempted to just throw the 30 blocks away when I get this done. Like, I appreciate that it goes to the smallest stack to try and, clear your inventory at the same time. Like, I'm working with full stacks, and I'd like to continue working with full stacks. So please just give me full stacks first. But alright. So, but yeah, I'm getting some ideas put together in terms of finding other ways and places and whatnot to enjoy building in this world. I guess in the current trending vernacular, the intention is this is a forever world. Go through and eventually try and get all of the achievements, get all of the things. Keep building on here, keep finding places to expand, what have you. If I can get things moving well enough, there will be things like world downloads so you guys can come in and see, because even with what has been streamed on Twitch, I haven't shown everything that I've done. Alright, so I don't have too much further to go. Alright, well, there you are. Boom. Okay. Put you back. That'll only become a problem later. So, but yeah, the interesting thing that I have come to both love and loathe about the Star Destroyer is in terms of its external hull, there's almost none of it, at least in terms of the planar forms, that are built in a 90-degree pattern. So, yeah. It means finding ways of describing certain forms in complex ways and moving from there. So I'm trying to think. So that is actually considerable distance away, and I'm not one of those people who keeps a bed on them. I probably really should, but at this point in time, I don't. So, if we get knocked off, we will go back and take a nappy nap. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep attempting to keep building this, because that's what we need. But yeah, I'm doing all of these because I want to make it as relatively simple as possible to... Okay. I have a feeling if I went over there, they'd definitely be on me by now. Oh, excuse me. I might not... This stream might not last as long as I was hoping. Because I gotta get some things done, and... with that, figure out how to get things squared away and get some rest, because I will be honest, I am exhausted, and so the level of bubbly energy that I do have some capacity for is not there right now. So that's okay. Life happens. We'll do what we can. You know, we'll be thankful for anybody who shows up and, you know, comes on by and says, "Hey, what's up?" Alright, speaking of, let me do that real quick, because I don't want to fall off. I don't want to fall. Alright, not too far out there. But yeah, so the one thing that is kind of nice is from the widest point, the bottom of this diamond shape that describes the vast majority of the body of the Star Destroyer is just a nice straightforward slope. So, and I think at this point I've got one that's reasonable. It's neither too abrupt nor too shallow. It did end up taking me quite a bit of time to figure out from... Oops, that's not the one I want. I want you. It did take me quite a bit of time to figure out the angles for these to actually make them line up and meet at the front of the Star Destroyer. But now that they have, I can keep building. I've talked a few times now. I'm still considering, because this is kind of a unique build, I am very much considering whether I want to make, instead of the kind of random greeblies that they have as the randomized bits and bobs that they've got noted as the very front. I might turn that into a small hangar bay. Oh, goodness gracious, I'm yawning all this much. I'm sorry, guys. I really am sorry. Alright, so there we go. But I'm kind of thinking of taking a note from one of my favorite parts of the expanded universe, which was the X-Wing series. Build a little hangar for starfighters to be in. Excuse me. At the very, very front of the Star Destroyer. Not that you need the particular tactic that inspired the idea, which is basically have a way to, you point your... It was, let's put all of our starfighters that we want to keep secret because it was part of a clandestine mission. Let's hide all of them in the front, and instead of having to actually target with a targeting computer, which, just like in a aircraft here on Earth, as you try to get a radar lock on it or whatever, all modern fighters have some capacity to go, oh shit, I'm getting pinged by radar. You might be in danger, sir. Evade, evade, evade. A ship this size is going to have very, very similar warning systems on it. But to bypass that and be able to get a massive blow in on a capital ship, the notion was you open the doors, all of the fighters just fire straight ahead, and from there then, after you've probably, if not destroyed, then you've probably crippled at least some capacity for the capital ship to fight you, and the starfighters can come out and finish work, doing their work the normal way. And I love that notion of surprise. And I think they came up with a kind of... Maybe I should just end the stream. So... but yeah, we had a good... It was a fun little idea that they had. And it'd be kind of fun to, it'd give me an excuse to sit there and put some X-Wings in this thing, have to figure out how I'm building them, all that. So, because I'm already going to have to figure out working on the TIE fighters, because we know there's going to be a bunch of them here. I'm trying to decide how much of... Because the funny thing with the TIE fighters would be being able to also turn those into a way to access and keep villagers safe. Like, instead of just having... Here's random banks of villagers on the Star Destroyer, have at least a few types of them that are in the TIE fighters as though they're getting ready to launch or something like that. So that is one of the thoughts that has occurred to me that could be an interesting exploration. The other thought I had in that sense was you build barracks. For all of them. But I don't know yet. I don't know. Part of it is I have really not messed with villagers beyond what I find in villages at this point. I know there's a lot of things that I can do with them that end up being like I can get most blocks from stonemasons. I can get most other things from potters. I can get all the blocks. I can get all the tools. I can get all the enchants. But it's just, to me, it's such a foreign way of using Minecraft at this point. I'm not sure how I want to approach doing it. So, I'll be honest, guys, I am flagging so bad. I think the smart move at this point is going to be go ahead and call the stream here, go take care of the things that I need to, and then get a nap. Because this is getting a wee bit much. So, hey, I am thankful for anybody, whether you stop by while I'm live streaming or you come by and see it after the fact. Please, even if you're coming after I've stopped streaming, please feel free to drop questions, what have you, anywhere in the comments. It gives me things that I can talk about in the next stream. So, I'm sorry this is kind of a short one. I do try and stream for about 2 hours. Like I said, it's kicking my butt, and if you can tell the difference between when I started and now, I need a nap. So, alright, folks. I am going to go ahead and call it there. I should be back on tomorrow. Sometime around 12... Between 12:30 and 1:30 is my usual time. Today was just a really bad day for work. So I got done fairly early. But yeah, so I am TanktheElder. This is Magic and Mayhem. Hopefully soon, my wife and I will sit down and we'll get some Magic the Gathering content going, in addition to the Minecraft content. If not, for now, we've got some Minecraft content coming up. Love to see you guys stop by and enjoy, and I will catch you guys all in the